Hello YouTube artists, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm going to be filling this beautiful handmade watercolor palette. It's wood, and I will add Kat's information down below with my Davinci colors. I have 19 spaces on the palette, but I have 30 colors that I need to whittle down and figure out which ones are really important to me. So these are the colors that I have to eliminate from. And you can see I have a bucket here of Davinci colors. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through my thoughts on why I'm saving what I'm saving. And then we will keep eliminating as we go. What I want is a really well-rounded palette. You can see every color is here except for a bright blue, because I really don't use bright blues except for this one. And that one will not be going on my palette. I already know that. I don't care for that color. So between the lavender and some of these other blues, I can probably make a brighter blue for myself. The first thing I want to do are the colors that I know are going right away. So for me, that would be Titan Buff, that would be Davy's Gray, and that would be Sepia. Okay, so those are a given already. And so that's 3 colors. When I am choosing yellows, I need to look for earthiness because I don't paint really bright, but I do like their nickel titanate yellow. I do really like the brightness of that. So I think I am going to keep that one because I've got sage and amber here, but then I've also got yellow ochre and raw sienna deep. Between these two, I know the raw sienna deep was a little harder to get that heavy mass tone. So when I am painting, I like to just dip in and go. So the fact that this took a little longer, I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to go with yellow ochre. So far, I'm going to go with the titanate, and I'm going to go with the sage and amber. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. I need to put a number there. So that's 6. So I have 13 more colors. Now I know the greens here. I love every shade of this green. It's funny, this mint green is something that I had on my palette last year, and I really enjoyed playing with it because it is a really beautiful muter of every other color. So for me, that and lavender are just like 2 muting colors that I use all the time, as well as buff titanium. So we're going to go ahead and do lavender and then all of these greens. I love all of these greens, especially this perylene green, which I've been playing with. So that is 5 more colors. So that gives me a total of 11. See how hard it is? I haven't even got to these 2 rows yet. When I played around, remember I bought perylene red and perylene maroon, looking for a bright red for my palette. Now, as I'm filming, they look kind of orange on the camera, but in reality, they're very red. And I know that I really like this alizarin gold because it is a different kind of red. By that, on here, it's more earthy out of all of my reds, besides like the Venetian and the Indian red. This color to me is like a red with a little bit of brick. So think of like a dark brick red added into it, but yet it really kind of leans on the orange side to me. And it's one that I do not want to give up. So I'm going to add that. When it comes down to red tint or quin rose dore, I really prefer this quin color. And I know the quin color and the Titan Buff make a beautiful pink, where the red tint, it's similar to my mint green here. And although I like the color, I like this color more. And remember, I have to eliminate. So I'm going to go with this. So right now that's 2 colors. So we're at 13 colors. I do want to have an orange on here, and I really love their terracotta. It is like, think of a burnt orange kind of color. So this is burnt umber and this is burnt sienna, but I really like the way that looks better. I like the colors. This one is a little duller, this one's a little brighter, and this one's a little browner. So out of those three, I'm gonna pick the terracotta here. And now we're up to 14. Okay, so that leaves me the violets and the blues. I do know that I love Artemis. Artemis is a color, let me bring you up so you can see. I want you to look at Artemis, Denise's gray, and then the Joyce's mother violet. So here's the Artemis. Look how it separates. Here's the Denise's gray. So you can see this one busts into more pinks. This one busts into more browns. And then this one here is more of the red violet, and you can see that it's got blues and pinks in it. So out of those colors, the one that excites me the most is Artemis. And that is also because I had that on my palette last year, and I really loved how it worked with all of my other colors. So it's just really experience. I like this color a lot, the Joyce's Mother Violet, but I think if I mix Artemis with this color, I will get a pretty nice lighter value. I don't know that it will be quite this purple, but I'm willing to chance it. So that is 15. Out of all these colors here, so these colors, the Denise's gray, because I chose Artemis, I'm going to eliminate that one. So then we've got this 4 colors here. This one is just way too bright. I already know that. I'm eliminating that. So we have Stormy Blue, Payne's Gray, and Indigo. Out of them all, I like the kind of violetness of this one. Payne's Gray is a little too dull for me. I prefer their Indigo, and I really like their Indigo. It isn't too bright blue for me, but it does give me kind of a dusky kind of feeling. And let me bring those 3 up so you can see what I mean by that. So you can see this one just feels a little more on the violet side to me. This seems a little duller, and this seems the brighter blue out of all 3 of them. I really like this one because of the granulation and this color separation, but I think I'm going to stick with Indigo here. So let me do Indigo, and that puts me at 16 colors. Now let me just count one more time to make sure that I'm up to where I need to be. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, that's 16. So I've got room for 3 more colors. Now in the reds, I don't have a dark red. So I had perylene maroon, I have Indian red, and I have Venetian red. This is probably the duller of them all, Indian red, but it is also a really heavy color. I want you to think of like a caput mortem. You know how it's just heavy. So when you dip your brush in, you can see this was me dipping my brush in. It's very thick, where the perylene maroon was a little thinner and the Venetian was very light. So it was one that I had to go back again and again, just like this yellow. So out of these 2, it's between these 2, and I think I'm going to go with the perylene maroon. Even though I really like the Indian, I'm going to go with perylene maroon because I'm looking at these colors and they will nicely shade that color, that color. It will also shade my terracotta quite beautiful. So that's perylene maroon. This too is a beautiful violet. This is violet iron oxide. So I'm debating, do I need more dark colors? So I could go with a raw umber here, which is a really beautiful brown. But I also know sepia and Titan buff will give me something very similar. Or do I go with a Payne's Gray that would shade some of these colors, even react really nicely with my green? Do I add the Denise's Gray just because of the separation is too different? It's more on the blue side than the Artemis that is that. Let's see those 2 color choices. And then I've got peach up here. Peach I think is just too light. I know I can get terracotta and the Titan buff with a little bit of yellow is going to give me a bright peach like that. Let's see here. See, this is the hard part. Let's see, I'm going to go with Stormy Blue. I think so, because it's a blue violet. Even though this is a violet, it's different. So I'm going to go with that one instead of Denise's gray. And I'm wondering if I should go with this raw sienna natural or raw umber. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with the raw umber here. So that is my 19 colors. Wow, that was a hard choice. Now I have to figure out the way that I want them on my palette. When you are working with a palette for yourself, I always look at how would I reach for something, okay? So this I'm looking at as my top here, and this I'm looking at the bottom. That's how it will sit on my desk. So I usually like the color that I use the most, which is Titan Buff, would probably fill this area. Most people would do Titan Buff here and do their yellows to oranges to that kind of rainbow color. I like to think about how I would use my palette. So for me, I know Titan Buff will be here. I will probably do my browns next because there's a lot of colors in here that look really dark, and I want to make sure that I'm reaching for my browns and not my blues. I use the blues the least, so they will go the furthest away from me. So they will be on the top row. I hope that makes sense. Down here is my core colors that I'm going to use and reach for more than the top colors. So what I have to do next is lay out the paint colors. Let me pull the ones that I have. So what I have as my bottom colors here is I was going to put my Titan Buff out here, but I think I'm going to do my browns at the edge here and do the Titan Buff next, and then start with my yellows. So I've got the nickel titanate, the yellow ochre, and then the sage and amber. So this one down here, I am actually pulling up to my yellows because I look at that as a yellow color and not a green color. So I want that up there near those colors. And then I've got terracotta, which is the orange color that I like. But now I have a dilemma. Do I put my 3 reds here, or do I put the colors that I mute with up there? So my muting colors are lavender, mint green, and Davy's gray. If I do that, then that means my red, purples, and greens are on the top, which would be pretty nice. I would probably reach for the muting colors more than I would the reds, even though in the color wheel that makes more sense, but I don't always do things by the color wheel. I've also thought about putting the greens here. So if I was to do the greens, that means the muting colors would be up top. And I'm not sure that I want those at the top. I will probably use those a lot more than I think I would use the greens. So I'm gonna put my muting colors up there, and I think that'll look nice. Then I've got the 9 at the top. So I'm gonna put my least used to that side at the top, which to me would be my blues. So I'm gonna go with indigo, stormy blue, artemis, and then I'm gonna go into my reds, which is perylene, alizarin, and rose dore. And then I've got the greens here. And do I wanna go dark to light or light to dark? I'm probably gonna go light to dark. So these are going, this is more blue to a more violet to a more red, and then I've got my greens here. And I think that that's gonna be pretty interesting. I like the idea of having it like that. So this is gonna be my top row, which on this is gonna be my back row here. So all I need to do now is squirt these into that. I'm probably gonna just squirt a little bit into it. I'm not sure, but I will come back once it's all filled and show you how beautiful it looks, because I already know it's gonna look delicious. So I will be back once it's all filled. I wanted to share a couple tips on doing this kind of filling. This is an opener. It is for different size lids depending on what kind of watercolors you have. So when you have a lid that you can't get off, you just stick it in there. You hold it really tight. Here it kind of snap, and then you just twist. And it's a beautiful thing and saves your fingers, just so you know that. I've just been making sure they don't have a lot of binder, which the Davincis usually don't. And that's how easy they are to fill. I had one color here. This was my yellow ochre, and you can see that it's really more watery and more flat than the other ones. So that one was giving me a lot of binder. So what I actually did was I took a skewer and I opened the paint and I actually took and stirred inside. So I put my skewer up and down and then kind of stirred to get the binder out. And then when I squirted it, it still had a little bit, but I know that that's going to solidify quite nice. So if you have a skewer or a really long toothpick, those are also really helpful for helping the paint come out. You can see that I'm not real careful about filling them up perfectly or anything like that. If that is something that you want to do, you just take and just kind of fool around with it and make it perfect however you want it to be perfect. I don't care about that. Usually my paint palettes become a mess because I'm a double dipper all over. I don't keep my paints clean or anything like that. So I thought that I would let you know about those two things that are really helpful when you're filling up a palette. And you can see that it looks gorgeous. I can't wait for it to harden up so that I can paint with it. So thank you for helping me choose the colors. I really appreciate you being here and watching and learning how I go about choosing colors and the way that I lay things out on a palette. It's totally different from anyone else that I know. And I want you to think next time you're filling a palette, how will I use it? What are the most colors that I use? What are the least colors that I use? And make it work for you. Remember, these are as individual as picking paints. And I know that I would always be able to find mine just by the way it's set up. If you enjoyed watching this video, please like or comment. I would love to know your thoughts on it. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button. And as always, thanks so much for watching.